Alright, so word on the street is that Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free just quietly filed the loudest piece of paperwork in the history of modern hip-hop, and not a single mainstream trade publication has caught the smell yet. Girl, while the entire internet spent 30 days screaming at each other over whether pgLang is really worth $500 million, Kendrick Lamar's people slid a stack of documents across a state clerk's desk that blows the whole valuation conversation to pieces. There is a sixth division inside pgLang. It is already breathing. It has been breathing for months. And Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free did not want it announced. Honey, they wanted it discovered. So, is this the exact moment Kendrick Lamar buries the major label system for good? And why is nobody at Universal, Sony, or Warner sounding the alarm yet? And more importantly, is Drake about to wake up and realize the empire he built with OVO is already being auctioned off underneath him, while Kendrick Lamar's empire quietly triples in value? Baby, this is about to be an absolute mess. So let's break this down. Now, before the comment section jumps out the window and tells me I am making this up, let me tell you exactly where the receipts are sitting. This is not a whisper from somebody's cousin who works in a warehouse. This is not a screenshot from a burner account. The Kendrick Lamar's people just dropped is state-level trademark filings, limited liability formation records, and the dusty back-office comptroller paperwork where the real story of every empire in America has always been hiding in plain sight. Somebody finally sat down with the patience to read the whole file. Honey, and the picture that came out of it is going to change the way you look at Kendrick Lamar for the rest of the decade. So, sit down, get comfortable, put the phone on Do Not Disturb, because the pgLang operation you thought you had figured out just grew a wing you never saw going up, and the new wing rewrites the math on every executive who ever tried to price this company from the outside. Real quick before we go any deeper, I need one small favor from you, because a story this big only travels when we push it together. Drop a like on this thing right now. That is all I am asking. One tap. And if you have not already tapped that subscribe button, tap it too, because the rest of this year is going to be full of quiet paperwork stories exactly like this one. And I promise you the mainstream trade press is not going to catch up in time. We are on the ground floor. Kendrick Lamar's team is 3 moves ahead of the industry, and I want you 3 moves ahead with them. Now, let me walk you through the 5 floors of pgLang that everybody already knows about, so you understand the size of the room we are actually standing in, and so the 6th floor lands with the weight it deserves. Floor 1, Honey, is the label imprint. That is the piece everybody sees. pgLang signs artists. Amari's Papercut debut project rolled out globally inside a 12-hour window with no radio push, no teaser cycle, no press tour, and no cooperation from any traditional gatekeeper. Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free flipped the release model on its head, and the industry barely blinked. Floor 2 is the management arm. Kendrick Lamar himself sits right at the center of it, and multiple industry sources are placing the surrounding roster somewhere between 8 and 12 names that have never had their affiliation publicly confirmed. Floor 3 is the creative agency, and this is where things get interesting. That is where the NBA Players Association campaign was quietly born. That is where the Trey Parker and Matt Stone film work got incubated over dinners nobody photographed. That is the arm that never posts, girl, because it does not need to. Floor 4 is the touring and live division. The Grand National Tour closed out at $369.6 million, and the Seattle date alone cleared $15.3 million in a single night. Floor 5 is what people inside the walls have started calling the vault. GNX era unreleased material, session tapes, cutting room floor verses, and what more than one insider is describing to me privately as the largest privately held stockpile of unreleased hip-hop music in the modern era. 5 floors, baby, and that alone is unprecedented. That alone is why every credible industry analyst has already pushed the valuation of Kendrick Lamar's operation past the $500 million line. And now I am telling you tonight, there is a 6th floor sitting underneath all of it. And the 6th floor is not really a floor. The 6th floor is the foundation slab for an entirely different building being poured, while everybody else is still arguing about the roof of the current one. And this is where the story stops being interesting and starts being absolutely terrifying for a very specific room full of executives sitting in Manhattan, because this was not a spontaneous filing. This was not a random trademark somebody threw in the mail on a Tuesday. This was choreographed months in advance, and the timing gives the whole game up. Word on the street is Kendrick Lamar's legal team dropped the trademark filings in the exact same window as the paper cut rollout, in the exact same window as the Grand National Tour ramp, in the exact same window that Universal Music Group was, per multiple sources familiar with the negotiation, quietly renegotiating Kendrick Lamar's royalty rate upward on Not Like Us in the aftermath of the dismissed Drake lawsuit. Girl, do you see what that means? At the exact moment Kendrick Lamar was pulling more money out of the major label system than any rapper of his generation has ever pulled, he was simultaneously funding the infrastructure that would allow him to never, ever need that system again. That is not artistry. That is not making music. That is corporate ninjutsu at a level the hip-hop industry has literally never watched a rapper execute in real time. And here is the piece that keeps the C-suites at Universal, at Sony, at Warner up at night with the lights on. These trademark filings are not defensive. Defensive filings are what you see when a rapper trademarks his own name so nobody can slap it on a bootleg t-shirt in a mall kiosk. What Dave Free filed for reads like a company preparing to run a full-service, vertically integrated, independent media platform that could, hypothetically and completely legally, host its own catalog on its own servers under its own terms with its own royalty splits on its own release cadence. Baby, that is a Trojan horse the industry did not see coming, because Kendrick Lamar's team never made a single public announcement while they were wheeling it inside the gates. Let me connect 3 dots for you, and I want you to draw the line yourself. Dot number 1. pgLang is already producing film content through Paramount, and the Trey Parker and Matt Stone project has been strategically delayed to align perfectly with the tour ramp and an awards run. Dot number 2. pgLang is already producing music and distributing it globally within a 12-hour window with zero major label infrastructure sitting in the middle of the pipeline. Dot number 3. pgLang has now filed trademarks in the streaming platform category. Draw the line between those 3 points and tell me exactly what building shows up on the blueprint. Honey, that is a self-contained media empire. That is Disney in 1955. That is Netflix in 2007. That is Apple in 2001. That is every single one of those pivot moments right before a legacy industry got walked straight into a wood chipper by a company that had quietly, with no press release and no cover story, been assembling the infrastructure to replace it. And nobody, and I mean nobody, is writing about this in the mainstream trade press, because the trade press is still busy printing first-week Iceman numbers for Drake and pretending the story of the year is a chart position. Now let me talk about Dave Free for a minute, because Dave Free is the reason the 6th floor is even possible. Everybody in this culture keeps calling Dave Free the guy in the shadows, the operations mind, the co-founder, the quiet one, the fixer. What Dave Free actually is, in plain English, is a full-service corporate architect who just happened to grow up next to one of the greatest lyricists of the modern era. His fingerprints are on everything Kendrick Lamar has touched at scale. Dave Free is the reason the Not Like Us music video was directed the exact way it was directed. Dave Free is the reason the Super Bowl halftime show was structured the exact way it was structured. Dave Free is the reason Paper Cut hit the world in 12 hours instead of a 12-month press cycle. And I am telling you, with everything I know about how filings of this shape actually get organized inside a legal team, Dave Free is going to be the name sitting on the signature line when the next public announcement drops. Because here is the piece that even the sharp people in the culture have not fully absorbed yet. Dave Free is not building a music career. Dave Free is building an institution. And the institution has Kendrick Lamar as its flagship, but Kendrick Lamar is not the ceiling of this thing. Kendrick Lamar is the front door. Now let me hit you with the valuation math, because this is where the number stops being cute and starts being dangerous. If you take the 5 floors of pgLang we already knew about and price them the way any normal media analyst would price them, the number lands somewhere around $500 million. If you add the 6th floor and you assign it even a modest valuation based on how the market has priced comparable independent media platform plays over the last 5 years, honey, you are staring at a figure that could triple that valuation inside a 36-month window. And that number does not include the GNX vault. That number does not include the equity in the ongoing Paramount film. That number does not include the touring revenue baked into the current Kendrick Lamar cycle. That number does not include the merchandising trademarks I just walked you through. So the next time you see a headline 6 months from now saying pgLang crossed the billion-dollar mark, remember you heard it here first. And remember the paperwork was already sitting in the file cabinet long before the headline ever showed up. Now let me contrast this against what is happening on the other side of the rivalry, girl, because this is where the humiliation stops being cultural and starts being structural. While Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free are quietly filing trademarks for an independent media platform, Drake is publicly suing his own record label, publicly leaking that he wants to walk away with 43 unreleased songs, and publicly flooding the market with 3 albums in a single day that got absorbed into a random Tuesday afternoon. One side is building the future. The other side is reacting to the present. One side owns the paperwork. The other side is trying to escape the paperwork. And when historians write about this decade 20 years from now, they are going to point at this exact quarter as the moment the tectonic plates cracked underneath the entire rap industry. Baby, this is the fault line. Before I get to the second half of this story, take a second and hit the like button and tell me in the comments right now, do you think Kendrick Lamar's team saw the OVO collapse coming before the public did? Yes or no? Drop your answer. I want to see where the room stands before I show you the next piece, because the next piece is the piece that changes the answer for good. Honey, there is a rumor moving through 3 separate corners of the music business right now, and if even the smallest part of it turns out to be accurate, it means OVO sound, as we have known it for the last 15 years, is not going to exist by the time we get to the other side of this cycle. And when I tell you Kendrick Lamar's team already knew this was coming, I mean they knew months ago. The moves Kendrick Lamar made this year were not moves against Drake the artist. The moves were against OVO the company. And now the company is sitting on the auction block, and the timing lines up so cleanly with everything Kendrick Lamar built that the word coincidence stopped applying a long time ago. Let me start with what has already broken into the daylight. Multiple industry outlets have already reported that Drake sold 50% of OVO to Authentic Brands Group. That is the same private equity holding company that has already gutted and repackaged everything from Reebok to Forever 21 to the estates of Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley. Girl, that is not a partnership. That is not a growth deal. That is not 2 brands shaking hands and combining ideas over dinner. That is the opening move of a monetization endgame, because Authentic Brands does not build. Authentic Brands harvests. The question every real one in the culture should be asking out loud right now is, why did Drake sell 50% of the company that carries his own name and his own legacy? The answer from people I have spoken to who watch deal structures like this for a living is that OVO needed the cash injection. And a company that needs a cash injection at the exact moment its founder is still the biggest streaming artist of the last decade is a company with bleeding problems the public has not been briefed on. Now here is the part nobody wants to talk about out loud. OVO the label has, for years, been quietly carrying a roster of secondary artists whose commercial output has never justified their signing bonuses, their marketing spends, or their overall overhead. When Drake was pulling in $500 million a cycle in touring and streaming revenue, that was fine. Drake revenue subsidized the entire operation. But once the tour cycle wound down, once Iceman failed to convert into the sustained catalog play that OVO's business model actually requires, and once Universal reportedly pulled marketing budgets away from OVO and reallocated them toward pgLang at a 3-to-1 ratio, that subsidy stopped functioning. And a label without a subsidy is a label with a math problem. And a math problem, honey, always finds its way onto a private equity spreadsheet eventually. That is not opinion. That is arithmetic. Now, let me tell you what those 43 unreleased songs actually are, because the public narrative has this piece completely misread. In the public conversation, those 43 songs are Drake's leverage. He can walk with them. He can drop them independently. He can use them to negotiate his exit. But in the actual industry conversation, according to how these deal structures are legally organized, those 43 songs are being valued right now by financial analysts as an asset sitting on OVO's balance sheet. And an asset on the balance sheet of a company that is 50% owned by Authentic Brands is an asset that can be leveraged, licensed, or in the absolute worst-case scenario, sold as part of a bulk catalog play down the line. Read that sentence again, girl. There is a scenario, and it is not a fringe scenario. where Drake's unreleased music ends up owned by a private equity company that then licenses it out for sneaker campaigns, streaming Doka series, and whatever other synergy plays Authentic Brands wants to run out of the portfolio. That is not the artistic future Drake told his fans he was assembling. That is a fire sale wearing a marketing budget. And here is the part that should make your jaw hit the floor. Kendrick Lamar's team has been operating for the last 2 years as if this exact endgame was inevitable. Every single move pgLang has made, the vertical integration, the 12-hour independent release capability, the trademark filings I just walked you through, the surgical alignment of the Trey Parker and Matt Stone film delay with the tour ramp. Every single one of those moves is exactly the move you make when you know your primary rival is about to lose control of his own infrastructure. Baby, you do not build a self-contained media platform because you want to compete with the majors. You build a self-contained media platform because you know the majors are about to consolidate, get acquired, get gutted, or get liquidated, and you want to be the one sitting on the independent throne when the smoke clears. Kendrick Lamar's team saw the OVO cash flow problem before the public did, because that is what real intelligence looks like at this altitude of the game. Let me give you the historical pattern so you understand this is not speculation being sold to you for clicks. When Death Row got sold, when Bad Boy went through its restructuring, when Cash Money hit its accounting crisis, the artist who walked away with the most equity was always the artist who saw the wave coming and positioned before the wave arrived. Master P did it. Jay-Z did it. Diddy tried to do it and got tangled up inside his own scandals before the exit was ever clean. Kendrick Lamar is running the exact same playbook right now, and Drake is running the opposite playbook, which is the sell 50% to a holding company for a cash injection playbook, which has historically been the opening chapter of the end of the story every single time it has been run before. Honey, the receipts are in the archives. Here is the scenario that keeps the smart executives up at night. Inside the next 24 to 36 months, Authentic Brands moves in and acquires the remaining 50% of OVO in a distressed valuation. They keep the branding for licensing purposes, but they release the roster into the wind. The roster scatters. Some artists go independent. Some sign with pgLang and land directly on Kendrick Lamar's imprint. Some sign with the majors on discounted deals because they no longer have an active label home. And Drake, the founder, either has to buy his own trademark back at a premium price he never planned for, or watch his life's work get slotted into an Authentic Brands portfolio right next to Reebok, Nautica, and a dozen other harvested cultural artifacts. Girl, that is not a rap career outcome. That is a cautionary tale outcome. Now, some of y'all are already typing in the comments, this is speculation, this is not confirmed. Drake is still the biggest streaming artist alive. This does not add up, and I hear you. Every one of those objections is fair on its own, but I want you to look at what is actually confirmed on the record. 50% sold. Confirmed. Lawsuit against Universal dismissed. Confirmed. Marketing budgets reallocated toward Kendrick Lamar. Reported by insiders with sourcing. 3 albums flooded in a single day and absorbed into background noise. Measurable inside the streaming data itself. 43 unreleased songs floating outside the release schedule. Reported. Each individual data point could be dismissed alone. Honey, but when you stack them on top of each other, you are staring at the fingerprint of a business in structural decline, and no amount of Instagram live sessions is going to reverse that fingerprint. Now I would bet, and this is educated speculation, not a hard claim, that Dave Free has a document sitting on a hard drive somewhere in a Los Angeles office that has already wargamed the OVO liquidation scenario 6 different ways. What roster spots pgLang might pick up? Which producers become available in the aftermath? What sync deals get freed up? What touring markets get abandoned? What festival slots open up? Baby, that is what real strategy looks like at this altitude of the game. Not making an Instagram post about your latest beef. Sitting in a quiet room with a spreadsheet and modeling out exactly what happens to your rival's company when the private equity vultures finish their meal. Kendrick Lamar is not just out-trapping Drake. Kendrick Lamar is out-strategizing every executive who ever tried to price his career. So the next time you see a headline about OVO and Drake and Authentic Brands, understand that the headline is a symptom. It is not the story. The story, girl, is that Drake sold half of his empire to a company that harvests brands, and Kendrick Lamar spent the exact same window building an empire that cannot be harvested because it was designed from the ground up to be unharvestable. One side is being quietly sold for pennies. The other side is being priced at north of $500 million and climbing. And the difference between those two outcomes is not talent. It is not charisma. It is not radio play. It is architecture. Honey, Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free architected a fortress. Drake and his team accepted a check. And in 10 years, when the culture writes the postmortem, that single sentence is going to be the entire chapter heading. Log the pattern with me, baby. The 6th floor of pgLang is real. The paperwork is real. The trademarks are on file. They are searchable. They are the loudest silent announcement in the history of modern hip-hop. So the next time somebody on your timeline tries to argue that pgLang is just a vanity project or a boutique label with a nice logo, send them this video. Tell them the empire already has a 6th floor. Tell them the elevator went up while nobody was watching the lobby. Because the pattern is the empire, and the empire is only getting bigger. Now, before you close this tab, I want to hear from you, because this is a story that is going to keep moving. And the people I trust most to keep me sharp are the people sitting right down there in the comments. Do you think Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free actually pull off the streaming platform play? Do you think Authentic Brands takes the other 50% of OVO inside 2 years? Do you think Drake sees this coming in time to pivot? Or is it already too late for him to catch up? Drop your take. Argue with each other. I read every one of them, and the sharpest ones always make it into the next video. And if you made it this deep into the story with me, do me the one favor I never asked twice. Hit the like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. This channel is where the paper trail gets read out loud while the trade press is still asleep at the wheel. And if you want the next piece of this story, the one where I break down exactly which pgLang trademark filings I think are the most dangerous to the majors and why, that video is sitting right there on your end screen waiting for you to press play. Do not close the tab. The 6th floor is only the beginning. The elevator is still going up, honey, and we are riding it together.